And let me share the screen. Yeah. Okay. So there is a difference between specific components and shared components. Once you install shared components, these are like example, like we just discussed the example, right? These are the shared components like a Wi-Fi router of the PC or else washing machine of the PC. These are the shared components. They won't buy a new washing machine or they won't buy a new Wi-Fi router if someone come to the PC. Okay, those are already installed in the PC. Okay, those can be used by everyone. In the same way, once you install these shared features, next time whenever you are installing one more instance, second instance, no need to choose any shared features. You, as already shared features are installed for the first time, directly you can choose these three specific features and you can proceed to installation. Okay, right? These are the shared features and specific features. Specific features are three features: database engine, SQL replication, full text. There is a separate database engine for each instance. You will have your own brain, I'll have my own brain. It's not shareable, right? Right, it's not shareable. Okay, so in the same way, database engine service is specific to each instance. In case you want to install one more instance in the same machine, you have to choose one more database engine. Okay, the first database engine is separate, second database engine is separate, and you have to install, okay, SQL replication and full text also. These three are specific features and very important features. In case you want to install SQL Server for the next time, you have to choose these three specific features. Right, go to next. Right, how many instances we can install in a machine?
We can install
50,
up to
sir.
50.
Up to
Very
50.
good, very good. Okay, I can install up to 50 instances, means 50 SQL servers in a machine. Okay, I can install 50 SQL servers in a machine. So 49 plus 1. Okay, what is this 50? 49 plus 1. What is this 49 plus 1? 49 named instances plus 1 default instance. There are two types of instances. One is default instance, second one is named instance. Okay, so if you ask what is the difference between these two, sir, there is no difference. Both will act same, the functionalities are same, the use cases are same, everything is same. The only one difference is name. Default instance name is different, named instance name is different. Default instance generally it will take computer name as an instance name. Remember guys, every instance should have instance name. In a class of 50 members, if there is no name to anyone, how can you call them? How can you treat them? Right, it will be very difficult to manage and handle, right? Each student will have its own name. In the same way, instances also will have its own name. Why? Because if I can install 50 instances in a machine, if I want to connect to the instance in one of the 50 instances, to which instance I have to connect? Imagine if there is no name to the instance, I have 10 instances, there is no name to the instance, to which instance I can connect? I can't connect to any instance, right? So instance will have instance name. We have two types of instances. One is default instance, second one is named instance. What is the difference between these two? Both will act the same. The functionalities, everything is same. Okay, the only difference is default instance will take the computer name as an instance name, whereas named instance you have to give the separate name, separate instance name. For default instance, no need to give any instance name, it will take the computer name. Now can anyone tell me how many default instances I can install in a single machine?
49.
One, only one.
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 Only one. Why? Because okay, once the name is occupied by someone, you cannot use the same name, right? Imagine if I have two instances with the same name, to which instance I can connect? I cannot connect, there will be a conflict, right? So that's why once it took the computer name is not shareable between the instances. So that's why you can install only one default instance. Remaining 49 are named instances. So you can install 49 plus one instance, means 50 instances. In that 50, one is default instance, remaining 49 are named instances. So is it compulsory to install default instance in my machine? What if I don't install default instance? Can I directly install named instance for the first time?
No.
No. Yes, just let me know. I need the answer from everyone. Just type in the chat box yes or no. Not an issue. Just give a trial. I need responses from everyone. Yes or no. Is it compulsory to install default instance for the first time? Can I install name? So the answer is, the question is, can I install named instance for the first time, right? Right. So the answer is, okay, can I install named instance for the first time? The answer is yes. Okay. So yes, Brian, the answer is yes. Okay. So it's not compulsory that you have to install default instance for the first time. Then for other instances, you can go with the named instance. There is no rule. But the first
Okay.
time itself, you can start installing named instances. Okay, it's not compulsory in a machine that you have to install default instance. No, not required. If you want, go with default. If you want, go with named instance. Okay, it's not compulsory, it's not mandatory. Okay, so it's not mandatory for the first time. Either you can install any instance, either you can go with the named instance or you can go with the default instance. It's just name, guys, nothing will be there. I have one more question, right? I'm using Windows Server 2012, right? Windows Server 2012 R2. Okay, can I install SQL Server 2016 named in, sorry, default instance and SQL Server 2017 default instance on the same machine? I need answers from everyone. Yes or
No.
no? Okay, so Nandini, yes. Okay, fine. Right. The answer is, okay, the answer is no, you cannot install one more default instance of another version also. Okay, once a default instance is occupied by a computer name. Why? Because once you install default instance, it will take the computer name. So no matter whether you are installing same
Yes,
version
sir.
of instance or different version of instance, it will take the computer name. Any default instance will take the computer name. So it won't allow us to install one more default instance of any other version also. Okay, so only one default instance per machine. Even though you are going to install multiple versions in the same machine, it won't allow us to install multiple versions of, okay, multiple versions. So for a default instance, only one default instance per machine. Okay, not per version, one default instance per machine, right? So yes, let me go to the setup screen. Yeah, now you can see default instance and named instance, right? So in case you want to install named instance, you can go for named instance. There are some rules for the instance name. Named instance, usually it will be like this: computer name. Default instance is computer name. Okay, it will take the computer name. Default instance name is computer name. Named instance name is, okay, computer name backslash instance name. Okay, named instance name will be like this. No need to give computer name, it will automatically pull the computer name. Instance name you have to give. There are some rules to give the instance name. You cannot give more than 16 characters of instance name. It will only allow 16 characters. You cannot start your instance name with numbers. You cannot start your instance name with the special characters. Okay, and special characters are not allowed under instance name other than, okay, there are only two special characters it will allow, dollar and underscore. Where is that underscore? Yeah, okay, only these two special characters. Again, remove the comma. Comma is also a special character. Okay, only two special characters are allowed in the instance name. Now can anyone tell me dollar SQL 2017, is it a valid instance name or not?
No.
No,
Why?
you have to start with the
Start.
computer name.
Very good. Oh, that's fine. Okay, just forget about computer name. It will already, it will give the computer name, guys. Only concentrate on the
Mhm.
instance name. Forget about the
Okay,
computer
first,
name.
okay, first we have to start with letters,
Very good.
characters.
Characters. Okay, so it won't allow. You can give like this. Okay, or else you can
Mhm.
give like this. Okay, but it won't allow. You have to start with the, okay, characters only. So the like the last name is not valid name. Okay, so can I give the instance name like this?
Spaces not will not allow, I
No.
think.
Yes. Okay, space is a special character, so this is also not a valid name, so you have to give like this. Okay, so these are the main rules. More than 16 characters it won't allow in the instance name, and special characters not allowed other than dollar and underscore, and it has to start with the characters only. Okay, it can't start with numbers, it can't start with special characters and all. Okay, right, these are the rules of instance name. If you choose default instance, I have a question for all of you. Okay, be ready. I just installed default instance now. Later customer is asking, hey, please change this default instance to named instance. Can we do that? The same instance you have already installed as a default instance, now customer is
No,
asking
no,
to change from default to named instance. Is it possible?
no, not possible.
Think again. Is
No,
it possible to
This is
change the instance from default to named to default?
if the customer change the computer.
reinstall all SQL Server again.
Sorry.
Yes,
If if,
it's
if they
possible.
want any specific name, we need to reinstall the server SQL Server.
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. So the answer is no, you cannot. Okay. Change the default instance to named instance or named instance to default instance. If you want named instance, then again you have to uninstall the default instance. You have to install the named instance. Okay. It's not compulsory to uninstall the default instance, but customer don't want a default instance. Of course, what we can do, we cannot pay the license, right? We have to uninstall the default instance and we have to reinstall it as a named instance. So it is not possible to change after installation, right? I just choose default instance. So let me proceed. We need to repair or reinstall. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so okay, I just choose default instance. Now let me go. Let me proceed for the next screen. Can anyone tell me what will be the next screen?
Server configuration.
So you can see here, these are the screens. Okay, after instance configuration, okay, these are the screens. Okay, next screen is server configuration, then database engine configuration, then feature configuration, then ready to install, installation progress complete. Okay, now you can see the page was changed to server configuration. Yes, very important, guys. Okay, just listen carefully. In 15 to 20 minutes we can close the session. Okay, don't worry about it. Right, service accounts. What is the service accounts? What the service accounts will do? So what is the use of the SQL Server, guys? Why we installed SQL Server?
Database management and processing security.
Data, to store the data, to process the data, to retrieve the data. Storing means what? Storing
We
means
have to
what?
save the data.
Writing the data,
Saving.
right? Retrieving means what? Reading the data,
Yes.
right? So who can do the reads and writes on behalf of SQL Server? Say for example, you want to store in C drive program files, something Microsoft SQL Server, in some location you want to write the files. Who is going to enter into this folder? Who can enter
The
into the folder?
VNops team.
No, forget about WinOps team. They are not going to do that. Apart from WinOps team,
SQL language.
who can do that? SQL language, near to the answer. Admin, sorry. Swati, you are
Develop-
saying something?
Administrator account.
Very good. Administrator account, guys. Okay, listen carefully. So we have a antivirus software. Okay, what this antivirus will do? Antivirus, first of all, it will scan. Then if it found any vulnerabilities, it is going to mark it as a virus. Finally, it will give a report. These are the files that are affected by virus. It will ask us whether to delete or not delete. We'll choose delete option. So let's understand in this way. Your antivirus, first it will scan all the folders. Who will scan? Scanning means what? Reading. Who can read the data in the folders? Antivirus can't read the data. Okay, when you install antivirus, on behalf of this antivirus, some services will be installed. Those services also can't read the data in the folders. These services will run under one service account. Remember guys, only users or service accounts can enter into the folders. Only they can read the data or write the data. Got it? If you don't believe, let me open services.msc. You can see all the services. When you install any software, okay, on behalf of that software, one service will run in the background. Then only that service will work. Okay, this is the services of all the components of the Windows server. Okay, so if you see here, I'm sorry, the logon as column, this is your service account. Okay, by default you will get 3 service accounts, guys. Local service, local system, network service. You can see here, local service, local system, network service. Okay, these are the default service accounts. While installing antivirus, it doesn't ask you to select the service account. Why? Because by default, all the highest privileged softwares will use local system as a service account. Local system account will have highest privileged permissions, so that it can insert into any folder, it can read any data. Once the reading is completed, will ask antivirus to delete the files, right? Delete means what? It's a write operation, right? So the service account can read the data, service account can write the data. In the same way, on behalf of SQL Server, service account, see, you're simply storing the data to the drives, right? D drive, E drive, F drive. Means in the drives, the user account has to be entered into the folders, and it has to write the data to the files. Okay, who can do all these things? Services can't do, your software can't do. On behalf of your software, on behalf of your services, one service account will do all these things. The service account will read the data, and service account will write the data. So what is service account? Service account is an account which helps to run the service. Any service will run under one service account. Okay, mostly we have three types of service accounts: local system, local service and network service. These are the
Network
default
is-
service accounts. Okay, these are the
Service.
default service accounts that will come along with the Windows Server. Forget about these guys. Okay, we are still in installing, right? So that's why you can see different service accounts here. Okay, which was already created. Right. Okay, so either you can choose local system for the SQL Server, or else you can choose customized service accounts also. Okay, these are like workers. Okay, these three people are workers for all these services. Okay, whatever work is there, only these three people are going to take care. Imagine you are staying in a PG, or you are staying in a room, separate room. Till today, you are the only one. You are staying in a room. So a worker is coming, a maid is coming to your room, and she is completing all the work in 30 minutes, and then she is going after work is completed. Now tomorrow one more person is added in the room. Okay, so slightly the time will vary, right? Earlier the maid is going to complete the whole work in 30 minutes. Now two persons are there, might be she can complete in 45 minutes. Now third person enter into the room, might be she can complete in 1 hour. If more persons are coming, the work is also going to be increased, right? In the same way, see, a lot of services are there. For all these three services, only three maids are there. Three maids. One is local service, local system, network service. How much pressure will be there on these three maids? Lot of work will be there, right? So performance issues will come if you use customized service accounts. So what I'll do, I'll create my own service account that is called customized service account. Means a separate maid will be there for me. Okay, in case of separate maid is there, she can complete all the things in 30 minutes and she can go, right? The performance is going to be improved, right? So that is called a customization. So we have two types of service accounts. One is default service accounts that will comes with the system, that is local system, local service, network service. Or I don't want these maids, I will set separate maid, then you can go with the customized maid. Okay, that is called customized service accounts. Okay, mainly the service account is going to do what it will do, what it is going to do. What is the importance of the service account in the SQL Server? The main thing,
Read the data, write the
read the
data.
data, write the data, read the data from the disk, write the data to the disk.
To the disk.
If you have specific separate service account, it can do these things quickly. If you are using same local system, see, local system is used by how many services? So what it will do, hey local system, can you please complete my work? Hey boss, please stop. Okay, I'm already working on some activity, can't you wait? Like that it will reply. Okay, so which is not acceptable for the SQL Server. We are installing SQL Server for the data purpose. Okay, for our purpose we are installing Windows Server. For the application purpose we are installing Windows Server, not for Windows Server purpose, right? Okay, anyhow we have installed Windows Server, right? Chalo, I'll install SQL Server also. Not for Windows Server purpose. For SQL Server purpose, I have installed Windows Server. There is no other way. So SQL Server work is the highest priority work here. So if local system is saying, hey boss, please wait, I am busy with other work, is it acceptable? It won't acceptable. Okay, so that's why we are going to create a specific service accounts for SQL Server. So it will take care of only SQL Server work. On behalf of SQL Server, that service account will read the data from the disk and write the data to the disk. So data pulling will be very quick and performance, okay, is good. So that's why it is always better to maintain a specific service accounts. Any issues here in the service account, let me know, please. Anyone still facing issues in understanding the service account? Is it clear? Simply, if you still don't understand, only two things. Service account is an account which helps to run the service on behalf of SQL Server. That service account will do reads and writes. Service account will read the data from the disk, write the data to the disk. So service account should have highest privileges. Why? Because don't know, where you are going to take the backups. It has to enter in all the folders. It should have access on all the on all the folders. Who can access all the folders?
Administrators.
Administrator. So that's why we are going to make service account as a local admin. Okay, that's why we are going to make service account as a local admin. It is very important. Okay, so usually service account should be local admin. If service account don't have local admin privileges, then he can't read the data and write the data properly. I'll tell you how to make any user as an administrator. Okay, in the next class we'll discuss. Fine, right? Everyone is clear, right? If you don't understand service account, let me know immediately. I don't have any issues. I'll explain again. But this is very
Explain
important.
again. Explain
Sorry?
again once more.
Okay.
Explain again.
Yeah. Simply service account is a made for SQL Server. SQL Server will do what it is going to do. It is going to read the data, write the data, and process the data, right? On behalf of this reading, writing, okay, and processing, who can do all these things? On behalf of your SQL Server, your service account only can read the data from the disk, write the data to the disk. Okay, so we have two types of service accounts. One is customized service account, second one is default service account. Okay, so we have two types of service accounts. One is default and second one is customized service accounts. Okay, so default service account, there is an issue with the default service accounts. Why? Because all the services will work on the default service accounts only. So which will cause the performance issues for the SQL Server. So what I will do, on behalf of this SQL Server, I'll create a separate service accounts for my SQL Server. So it will act as a separate made for my SQL Server, which will take care of my SQL Server operations. Okay, so each service, not only SQL Server guys, each service will run under a service account. Either it should be a local system, local service, or network service. Other services don't ask to choose the service account based on the priority. Windows Server only will give the service account, but SQL Server there is a chance to choose the service account. You can go with the default service accounts, or else you can go with the customized service accounts also, as SQL Server is a high priority application. Clear?
Clear.
Yeah, okay, fine. So here your agent service will have a separate service account. Okay, and your database engine will have a separate service. These are the main services will be installed, guys. Once you install SQL Server, these four services will be installed. So each service will have its own service account. I'll tell you. Okay, I have a question for all of you. Can I change the service account whenever I want?
Yes.
I need answers from everyone. Can I change the service account whenever I want?
Yes.
Yes, it's possible.
Okay, so the answer is yes. Why? Because I told you, right? So it's like a maid. If I don't like my maid, I am going to change the maid, right? In the same way, I can change the service account whenever I need, whenever I want, but it's a downtime activity. After changing the service account, you have to restart the server. Okay, you have to restart the server. So it is a downtime activity. So whenever you want, you can change it, but you have to take the proper approvals. If the server is going to be down, you have to take the approvals from the higher authorities. If you don't tell them, if you restart the server without their approvals, you will be caught. Okay, so that leads to the termination. Sometimes companies are very strict. If you restart the servers without approvals, they are going to terminate you with a single reason. If you delete a database, they will terminate you. If you delete a table, they will terminate you. Not all companies, guys. Some companies are very specific about the clients. If client said, I don't need this guy, they are going to terminate you. Why? Because they are paying the money. Okay, so make sure very perfect in this case. Okay, don't restart the servers without approvals. Don't shut down the servers. You will never get chance to shut down the server. Might be while doing upgradation or migration, you can restart it after taking proper approvals, but never ever shut down any server. Star mark condition. Don't ever shut down any server. Your work is completed, log off from the server. That's it. If you shut down the server, database will be down, application will be down, business loss. Customer won't accept the business loss. Okay, never ever shut down the server. Keep in mind, okay, never ever shut down the server, right? And don't restart the server without having proper approvals. Okay, so whenever you install SQL Server, 4 services will be installed. This is agent service. For agent service, this is the service account. A virtual service account will be created. If I want to select a different account, I can go for a different account also. Now I don't want to change the account. I'll keep it as it is. Okay, come on. Okay, let me go back. Okay, let me go next. I guess it won't come now. It's not coming. It's not coming. It's not coming. NT service, some agent account will be there. Okay, so it was missed. Okay, so what we can do for that? Okay. I can create a customized account. So let's create a customized account. Okay. I'll tell you later how to create it, but quickly I'm going to create a customized account. Okay. lusrmgr.msc. Tomorrow, not tomorrow, in the next class, I'll tell you how to create an account. Okay. Let me go to the users. Let me create a user, new user. Okay. I'm going to give the service account name like this: SQL SVC ACT account. Okay. Control A, Control C, and password. Let me type the password 123 and 123. You can give the service account during the installation or after installation also. You can change the service account. Okay, and this service account usually, I'm sorry for that, it should be local admin. Go to administrators group, add. Okay, SQL check names. Okay, there is no SQL. Huh? What is the account name? SQL SVC ACT, right? Yeah. Okay, just click OK, and it is the local service account now. Okay, now I have created a user and I gave the local admin privileges to him, right? So don't worry, forget about this step. Again, tomorrow, next class, I'll explain. Okay, let me go to the setup window. Yeah, let me choose my own service account, browse SQL SVC ACT. Check names. What happened? SQL SVC. Come on. Okay, SQL. Spelling mistake. Okay, check names. Okay, and give the password. Okay, so let me give the password, the one which I gave while creating the user. Okay, I have to give. If you give the wrong password, your installation will be failed, guys. Okay, make sure you're giving the proper password. Okay, let me check again. Okay, so this service should be automatic. All services should be automatic only. If you keep it as manual, this is okay. Browser service can be disabled, not an issue. Full text is also manual, not an issue. Mainly database engine service and agent service should be automatic. Okay, so that's why make it as automatic. So whenever you start your server, Windows server, these services will be started automatically. If you keep it manual, if someone rebooted the Windows server, again you have to manually restart the SQL server. That is not good, right? So keep it automatic. Okay, first thing. Next, collation. Collation means language settings. If you install any application, it will ask you to choose the language, right? While configuring the app, it will give you Hindi, English, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam. So everything it is going to give you, right? So in the same way, SQL Server software will also have language settings. You can choose your own language in case you want to. Okay, change your language. Okay, now you can change the language using this. You can go with Chinese language, you can go with the Arabic language, French language, whatever you want, you can change the language. By default, if you go with the English language, this is the default service account, SQL Latin one. Okay, Latin means, you know, right? The all languages, mostly English languages came from Latin language only. So SQL Latin one general. CP1 means code base one, your language settings. CI means case insensitive. AS means accent sensitive. By default, this is the collation setting. I have a question for all of you. Can I change the collation settings later? After installation of SQL Server, can I change the collation settings? Can I change the language settings after installation of SQL Server?
No.
Not possible.
Okay. I need
No.
answers from everyone.
No, we can't do that.
No, we can't.
Okay. So the
No.
answer is, yeah, the answer is no, we cannot change the language settings after installation of the SQL Server. Okay. There is another way. You have to reinstall and you have to simply take the backups and restores of the same server. Okay, there is no way to change the collation settings. There are some other ways, but those are the risky ways. Okay, usually people don't follow. Instead of going to the risky way, they are going to simply uninstall and reinstall, and they are going to simply take the backup of old servers and they are going to restore in the new servers. That's it. They are going to achieve like that. Okay, that's it. These are the two main settings. Go to next. Okay, in the security concept, we have a security concept. Who can access the SQL Server, how to give the permissions, how to make a sysadmin, how to, okay, give the permissions, how to remove the permissions. Everything will be discussed in the security concept. There I will explain what is this Windows authentication, what is this mixed mode authentication or SQL Server authentication. As of now, we'll choose Windows authentication only. Windows authentication means the meeting is going to close now. It is showing less than 1 minute. Let me reopen the meeting. Please join immediately with the same link. Okay.